Oh my God, Joe Rogan getting mad at.
Because you're not going to achieve effort equality. There's certain people who are just going to always work harder than other people. This idea of like, we need to redistribute. I was watching this maddening conversation where this fucking dork was trying to say that all money over $3 million that a person makes should be taxed at 90%. Like, that's great for you to say, because you're never going to make $3 million, you fucking idiot. But that's so stupid. The idea behind it is so stupid. The understanding where that money goes is so stupid. Because you're not going to.
It's so ironic. You're shitting on Sam Seder, who had a great quote unquote debate, I guess, with some fucking libertarian weirdo. He watched the video and got mad. I saw that part. Calling him a fucking dork and a moron is so funny because you also literally admitted you don't understand how like tax brackets work. Like, you can't call the other guy a moron while simultaneously demonstrating your lack of understanding of how tax brackets work. Like, that's not how that works. It just means 90% taxed after 3 million. That doesn't mean like 90% of all the money you make. You can still make more than 3 million. You can still, your end of the year return will still be fucking higher than 3 million. It doesn't work that way. Also, we had that. We had that. Sam literally explained that like 8 times on the video. Yeah, I know. I think Sam did explain that. I kind of want to watch that video. It's pretty funny. No, Joe Rogan and everyone else basically thinks it's true because some people will turn down. Dude, I love this. Is my favorite idiotic take. Where is it? It's true because some people will turn down a higher raise because they don't want to be in a higher tax bracket. Is such a funny fucking take because once again, you're just describing that like they don't understand how that works. Okay? Like they don't understand how that works, so they are stupid. Like that's not how taxes work. Does that make sense? Like you're again, yeah, it's not the fault of the government, it's the fault of the fucking idiot for thinking that that's how it works. It was literally what I thought when I was dumb in 14. Yeah. That's exactly how that works. Wait, what? That's pretty dumb, not gonna lie. I don't want to get taxed 50% either. I get taxed way too much already right now. It's not fair. That's exactly how that works. Oh no. Bro, do you know how tax brackets work? Do you understand how tax brackets work? Like you don't make less if you make more. That's not how that works. You're literally describing that you don't understand how that works. Okay. Realizing now that we need to not only watch the fucking Sam Seder video, but also not only that, but also just a quick refresher on how progressive tax brackets and how they work. That's just a common meme. You've definitely seen that before. You know, financial literacy is super low. Here's a chance to not shit on someone. See how it goes. No, I'm not. I'm not. But like the issue here is that not only is he wrong, but he also is like, yeah, the only time it comes close to working like this is when you lose benefits. That's it. Like your overall when we're talking about your tax burden, like you're not going to make less than someone making less than you because the government taxed you more for it. Because ultimately you're still making more than other people Okay? You're making more than other people. It's just a higher percentage of that, once it hits above that top margin, is getting taxed. But you're still going to make more people. I mean, you're still going to make more than other people. Okay? What?
All right, Spartan. Let's talk about taxes like we're battling the Covenant. First, you need to gather all your necessary documents, like your earnings statements and receipts, with the same attention to detail as when we're looking for Forerunner artifacts. Don't leave any stone unturned or the taxman will catch you like a grunt in a trap. Next, you must determine your filing status. Are you single like a lone UNSC Marine on a mission, or married like a couple of hunters bound together? The status you choose will have a significant impact on your tax rate, so choose wisely, Spartan. Then, you calculate your taxable income. This is the amount of your earnings that the government will tax you on. It's just like when we're taking out enemy infantry, one by one with precision and focus. After that, you must determine your tax liability. This is the amount of money you owe to the government. There are deductions and credits available to you, but don't try to cheat, or the IRS will come after you like the flood. Finally, you must file your taxes. You can do it online or by mail, but make sure it's done right and on time, or you'll be in more trouble than a Spartan caught without their armor. Remember, the UNSC doesn't tolerate lateness, and neither...
Okay, this didn't actually describe it well. Okay. Oh. A common tax misconception of people is when they think you get a raise, you get taxed more. Example, if tax bracket is 50K and you get a raise of 55K, you only get taxed in the higher bracket for 5K. Exactly. Like, so ultimately, you're still making more, and your end of the year, like, money that you're bringing home after it's been taxed is still going to be higher than the person who's making $50,000. Okay? Because leading up to $50,000, you and that other person who made $50,000 is getting taxed exactly at the same rate. Unless there's, like, you know, different deductibles and shit like that. But ultimately, it basically is literally up to that point, you're getting taxed the exact same. And then everything that goes above that point, you're getting taxed additionally higher if you are in the top marginal tax rate. Okay?
These are tax brackets for 2019. Simple, right? But many of us make a common mistake when looking at this. Let's say my income is $84,000.
Please tell me you never have turned down a raise. Like, I mean, that's not even a real thing. Can you even turn down a raise? Oh my God, your boss was probably so excited. Oh my God, I'm willing to bet. Dude, bosses probably are like, oh, what a fucking idiot, dude. I'm not going to tell him how this shit works. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I'll pay you less. Sure. And it's for your own good. Can we take away your benefits too? That would be sick. Oh. 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 God, we are so stupid as like... The American working class is like so fucking stupid.
You might think that puts me in the third bracket, so I would owe the federal government 22% of my income. This is wrong, and it's causing us to have uninformed debates about tax policy.
Yeah. People think that if you're in the highest tax bracket, that like 37.5% of your entire income is like cut down, and then the government takes that. That's not how that works. Okay? That's why there is a tax rate, a marginal tax rate, and then also on top of that, an effective tax rate. I can't believe we're, oh my God, says the millionaire, bro. Yeah, honestly, I believe that meritocracy is a lie, and I'm pretty open about that. But right now, I'm beginning to realize maybe I am fucking a little bit smarter than the average dumbass. Because, like, holy shit. Yeah, this is like unimaginably stupid to advocate for. You are literally advocating against, like, an accurate assessment, an accurate dissemination of information, like the truth about the matter.
Here's how it actually works. Let's go back to my $84,000 income. Now, instead of thinking of tax rates as brackets, we should think of them as pockets. But first, there's one special pocket we need to talk about. The money we put in this pocket is not taxed. The government automatically lets single people put $12,000 in this special pocket, and more for couples. But if you spend a lot of money on things like medical expenses or charitable donations, you can sometimes put in more. These are called deductions. With the $70,000 that's left over, you can start.
Like, a gifted sub at the top of the hour is not a deduction. Okay? People still do it regardless because they want others to avoid the ads at the top of the hour. But it's not considered a deduction. Just letting you guys know. Now, of course, at the top of the hour, there is a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe, which you can do for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Okay? So, hey, Bozo and Puddinghead just did not deduct 10 gifted subs total, but still gifted 10 people the opportunity to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's a 3-minute ad break now.
Filling up the pockets. The first pocket only
Rex,
has room for
Recall X, thank you for the 5 gifted subs.
So I only pay 10% on this money. Then I pay 12% on the money in the next pocket. And then 22% on the money in this pocket. These are called marginal tax rates, and that's how these brackets actually work. So if I get a raise, that new money goes into the first pocket with empty space. When space runs out, we put it in the next pocket. So the raise, and only the raise, would be partially taxed at 22% and partially at 24%.
So do you now understand why getting a raise never takes more money from you? With the only notable exception of like Medicare eligibility, obviously, or like SNAP benefits and shit like that. Which is completely completely removed from this conversation anyway. So you're only taxed on the money that moves you to the next bracket. Yes. I work at the IRS and a lot of my coworkers still don't understand this law. Dude, there are CPAs that don't understand this. There are literal accountants that don't fully understand this take. Like, it blows my fucking mind. An easy way, like I think of it as after-tax income is a graph. It's like a line that goes up and starts to even out as you go higher, but it never goes flat or down, which means there's no way to get less money when you earn more. Yes. Read my last message. What? That's his point? He's being sarcastic? What do you mean? I was joking. Oh my God. Okay, if you ever say read my last message again, you're going to take a 1-hour ban right now. If you ever say read my last message again, and honestly, it's like some dumb shit like this, I will perma you. Nothing more frustrating than like a chatter being like, read my last message, streamer, and then it's nothing.
How many people have credit card debt? How many people? You just said when you took out a mortgage, you said, I'm an actor. What was the rate? You're like, I don't fucking even know. You should know.
Well, I was making so much money that
I don't give a shit how much money you're
guy,
making, Sam. You should know what your mortgage rate is.
But, you know, I mean, I didn't remember what it was in 1998. But, I mean, I know what it is now. But, I mean, but I was making so much money. But I was making, I was in the top, I don't know if I was in the top 1% at that time, but probably pretty close.
So let me ask you a question.
And I was a single guy who had just gone from making, to $22,000 a year to all of a sudden making that.
How much were you
making
making
a week
at that point?
I mean, I was making a lot of money.
Now, how comfortable at that point would you have been paying 90% in taxes?
Sure.
So you actually want to pay 90% in taxes?
No. Let's
I'm willing to bet this motherfucker doesn't know how marginal tax rates work. I think it's like, this is my most like actually neoliberal ass moment. Like James Medlock would fucking love this conversation if he's out there watching. But it is so deeply frustrating to see people who are notable thinkers on any political spectrum, both on the left, both on the right, just understand a fundamental principle of taxation with respect to marginal tax rates. It blows my fucking mind because the left doesn't understand it. Ultimately, they have the right energy. They have the right mind. So I don't like really fucking talk about it all that much because they think, oh, it should be 90%, as in like if you make $3 million, let's say, okay, then literally we should take 90% of your money and then like reduce you to whatever 10% of $3 million would be. Okay, $300,000, right? Like, that's not how that works. That's what they think, though. That's how they think. They think if you make $3 million, like, this is how every fucking American thinks about this. They literally think if you make $3 million and there's a 90% tax rate, then you all of a sudden make $300,000. And there are a lot of people on the left who literally fucking look at that and go, that's actually solid, dude. Why do you need more than $300,000? It's idiotic. It is objectively the dumbest fucking thing you could say. It's the dumbest thing you could advocate for, but at least it's on the right side of the political spectrum, so I don't really talk about it that much. Okay? But that's what people think. This understanding is split a little across party lines. I mean, yeah. Democrats, incorrect. Democrats still have 37%. They still have 37%. 37% of the Democratic Party misunderstands marginal tax rates. Come on, dog. How do you not see that this is objectively an issue? I get why 62% of Republicans are... This is just as surprising. The fact that there are 38% of Republicans who understand the marginal tax rate, and yet like that's a very high number, and this is not low enough. You say we should know this, but we literally aren't taught this in school. You know that, right? I mean, I don't know where I learned this, but like I learned it somewhere. You know what I mean? It's not like I was fucking, I didn't materialize with this information in my brain. I don't know how people like don't have any curiosity as to how like taxation works. But hey, guess what? A lot of you in the chat just learned something entirely new today. Surprising that it's like a new piece of information because it's so like fundamentally important. I don't know how else to describe it. But there you go.
So when politicians say they want to raise the top tax rate, it doesn't necessarily mean these pockets and your money are affected. They're talking about tax rates on the pockets way over there, which are only used once people have filled in these smaller ones. Marginal tax rates are a pretty simple concept once you get the hang of it. So the next time a
Yeah. I get why Steve Scalise says it because he's a fucking shill piece of shit. And also because he's stupid. But yeah, there is no moment in your life where you are going to get a raise and then like actually end up making less money than you would have without the raise. Okay? Like, for that to exist, here's how I will explain it. For you to get a raise and then all of a sudden be in an entirely new tax bracket and for you to lose money in that process, the top marginal tax rate would need to be 120%. Okay? Not 37.5%, but 120%. That's how that would work. Once you hit that new fucking... and even then, you would have to literally make... the raise would have to be less than 20% as well, which is... that's just math, whatever. Okay? But that's not a real thing. There's no such thing. That doesn't exist. There's no top marginal tax rate where you literally automatically trigger a process where they take more money from you than you are actually making. That doesn't exist. Okay? Yeah, the top marginal tax rate was 92% under Eisenhower. But of course, it never went over 100%.
Politician says the government wants to take away 70% of your income. Just send them this video.
Does that make sense to you guys now? That's why in countries where there's like higher top marginal tax rates, like Norway, for example, there's still billionaires. As a matter of fact, more billionaires per capita exist in Norway than they do in America. How the fuck did that happen? You know what I mean? How could that ever happen if they had like a max cap on wealth? It's because when I do the math on my yearly income, it always comes out missing 30% of my yearly income, which is what I thought. That way? No. No. You have an effective tax rate, which is what amount of money you have at the end of the fucking year. And that's entirely different than the top marginal tax rate.
These 10 people represent everyone in America.
Oh shit! Let's watch Sam Seder
Why,
explain it
let's be
now.
clear. I think it should be 90% over for the every dollar you make over $3 million.
Yeah.
That would not have impacted me at that time.
So
but I would have been happy to pay more taxes.
But why would anyone?
You know why I'm laughing? Because it's always
It's always more money than you made, fucking idiot.
let's tax the people a little richer than me. It's always let's tax
Well,
the guys
it was
that
a
are
lot richer.
But
I'm just going back.
If you're saying 20,
I'm just going back
if you're
to
saying
what-
22
what-
a week, you were
I'm just
making
looking-
$1,098,000. That's a lot of money.
No.
You're making $1
Well,
million.
it wasn't 20.
You said 22 a week. That's $1 million a year.
No. That was the year before. I mean,
But you're making money. Let's just.
I was making a
Yeah.
bunch of money.
So
But I'm just going back to when we had the Great Compression, which was when we had the least wealth inequality in this country.
I'm the only motherfucker who says tax me more. Yeah, I make more money than Sam Seder. I might even make more money than this fucking scumbag, okay? Mostly because he's a con man. And yes, I think you should be able to tax richer people more. Now, I also understand two things. One, stop using my taxes on fucking giving police more overtime pay and more fucking tanks and shit, or a submarine in the LAPD, Jesus Christ. And two, if you truly want to address the crisis in this country, especially with the mega wealthy, tax assets. Capital accumulation should also be taxed at a higher rate. Most of the mega wealthy never touch their assets. They just keep it in the stock market and then buy, borrow, die. Talked about it a lot. Now, this is actually a tiny sliver of people. This is like, we're talking like 15,000, 20,000 people max. Okay? And yet their assets and their earnings collectively make up for like what 99% of Americans are paying and making. This is a beautiful way to put it. Thank you, Flex Sand. If the top tax bracket is 90% for $300 million and above, and you make $300 million and $305 million, you would only be taxed 90% at the $5 that you made. Did I say 300 million? Oh, I fucked it up. Math is so hard. If people don't understand marginal tax brackets, buy, borrow, die might as well be theoretical physics. I don't think so. I think buy, borrow, die is easier to understand than top marginal tax rates. Jeff Bezos, in many respects, is not liquid. Okay, his net worth is directly associated with the Amazon stock price. But when you have unlimited net worth, okay, when your net worth is that fucking high, you can go to a bank and get a 0% interest rate loan that you never even have to fucking pay back. So despite the fact that you are that wealthy, you could just go to a fucking bank. Sometimes back in the day, it wasn't even 0%. Chat. There are Chat's gonna fucking lose their minds when they hear about this. Banks would pay you if you're rich enough to take money out from them. There are negative interest rates, brother. What are you talking about? Because they want you as a incredibly wealthy person to bank with that bank.
We had the GDP was, consistent with where, on our trajectory, but it was spread out. It wasn't like this, essentially. Rob, it was more spread out. It's called the Great Compression. And I'm just using that figure. I mean, look.
Hasan's tax evasion accountant says, true asset taxation would be tangible. Do not let any finance bro say it's not possible. There's accounting guidance that can be used by the IRS to apply such a standard, not to mention property taxes exist. Thank you. This is the fundamental point I make all the time as a fucking homeowner. You can always tax assets. Any motherfucker that tells you can't do that in the stock market is lying to you. Why are they lying to you? We tax assets all the fucking time. As my tax evasion accountant correctly points out, we tax properties. Shut the fuck up. But of course, they refuse to do that because that would, greatly undermine the American stock market. And it could possibly cause some financial chaos. That's not even false. That could happen. But make no mistake. People say you cannot tax people's stocks. You cannot tax people's overall wealth. They're wrong. And not only are they wrong, but the reverse of that works all the time. The reverse of that works. They use their loss in the stock market. They are super fond of calculating their losses in the fucking stock market as a way to get taxed less. But yeah, gains on the other hand, you can't tax them. You just can't do that. It's impossible. Impossible. You can actually tax the losses though. You can use the tax. You can use it as a way to lift some of your tax burden when you lose. But if you win, no, you can't do that. It's permanent growth. I'm going to be a finance bro here, but you can only write off the losses just like when you sell, just like capital gains. Yeah, but you write off the losses because you fucking sell. Because you ultimately have to. There's no max cap on how much money you can make, but there's always a fucking bottom on how much money you can lose. It's gambling. It's the same principle as gambling. Because the stock market is gambling. That's why people always say gambling is the only place where you can make 1,000% of what you put in, but you can also, and very likely to do so, lose 100% of what you have. The stock market is the same. You can make 1,000% of what you fucking put into the stock market, but you can only lose 100% of what you put in. Well, that's not even sure. That's not even true. You could technically lose more than what you actually have. There are methods to do so. So that's not even true, but you know, you can short shit, you can do margin calls. There is obviously ways to do that because again, it's like gambling on fucking steroids. So, you know, God, dude, it's such an incredibly fucked up system. It is so fucking stupid. But hey, there's fundamentals behind it. You know what I mean? There's solid fundamentals backing the stock market. So it's not like gambling. It's very different.
Look, if it's going to be 85% over 3 million or 85% over 4 million, I'm just basing it on what was the most successful economic era of this country.
Why not do 90% over $250,000?
I mean, if the numbers bear it out, I'm agnostic as to that. Again, I'm just pegging it on when we had the most success in this country in terms of our economy.
I appreciate that you're pointing out the success, but right now the top marginal tax rate federally is 37, 39. Okay, you do realize how shocking it is to say, all right, rather than go from 37 to 39, how about 40?
How about
50?
How many?
You want to go to 90?
How many people do you assume? How many people do you assume would be touched by that tax? Would be implicated?
Top 1%.
Look
at this number right here.
Yo, fucking chill, dog. Hey, calm down now. Yeah, we shouldn't do that, Sam. I'm just kidding.
Of total income taxes paid,
less.
The top 1% in this country pay 42.3%. The bottom 50% only pay 2.3%. So 100.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. That's insane. You're looking at share of total income taxes. What do you mean? They don't got money. What do you want them to do? You want to take away more? They don't have anything. They don't have anything. What do you want to do? You want to milk them further? What the fuck?
$150 million people are paying nothing in taxes.
Right.
And you want to keep the 1% paying more and more and
I think
more
it's
and
actually
more?
even less than 1%, to be honest with you. I think we're talking about 0.05%.
Sure, but let's tax them even more.
Oh, I specifically want to make it illegal to be almost as wealthy as you. Not quite, but a little bit more. Like I want to make it not illegal. You're not going to go to jail.
So nobody can be no billionaires. No billionaires in America.
Absolutely.
Sam,
100%.
Why? Don't you want America to be known for greatness, for innovation, for capitalism, for all the amazing things that we've done in this country?
My definition of
you want to
greatness-
go to like Nordic.
The thing is, in a country where being a millionaire is illegal, that would be the closest to being every single person being a millionaire by default. And I don't think these guys understand that. Like, first of all, you can't do that anyway. There's no way of like doing that. It would never happen. Obviously, capital owners would literally execute anyone that had ever came like anywhere near advocating for such a policy. But like, what a lot of people don't understand is like, if it was basically, if our tax system worked in that way, okay, this would be way beyond the Nordic model. First of all, understand that we're not talking 90%. We're talking 100% over a certain level of income. Okay. But if it worked that way, then every single person, because of our coffers and the way that we could fund social safety nets, basically every single person would be living in a level of wealth that you wouldn't even need more money. Okay? You wouldn't even fucking need because all of your needs would be taken care of. Oh God, Chatter was right. This is finance, bro. Fresh and fit. Yeah, it is. And Sam is the sexy, slutty e-girl that they brought on to bully. Okay? And what they didn't realize is got a whopping hard cock, a little bit harder than they can chew. Can't believe I said that. Sorry.
Socialism.
My definition of greatness is different from yours. I'll give you an example why I think billionaires are a problem. This country's public school system has been hopefully not fatally derailed because of an experiment that the Gateses did. They sunk about $750 million, probably about $1 billion directly, and then multiple billions other sort of like subsidiarily into an experiment in this country for education. It was done primarily up in the Northwest, but it changed the whole trajectory of education in this country. Value added, high stakes testing, all of this. They did it up in the Northwest. It impacted everything. Obama's Secretary of Education pursued this. In New York, we had high stakes testing, et cetera, et cetera. In 2017, okay, this for 2 decades, shoved a lot of teachers out of the industry, people who love to teach, but then they lost like their ability to, because everything had to be taught to the test. And there was no sort of like real thought going into education. Everything was prescribed. 2017, 2018, the Gateses hired the Rand Corporation to make an assessment of their almost 20-year project, which derailed education in this country. And the Rand Corporation said unequivocally, big mistake. Should have listened to educators and big mistake. Don't do it anymore. And basically, the problem with billionaires, in my estimation, is that on a whim, whether his intentions are good or bad or whatever, it doesn't matter. No one should have the ability to impact society in that way unilaterally.
Neither should
we don't have kings.
But
we don't have kings.
Right.
We live in the best system that we possibly can have, which is at this point, which is like as much democracy, and we could have a little bit more, right? There's still some minoritarian aspects of what we're going through, but democracy is better. It involves more stakeholders in it. It brings more people in who have investments in this. You cannot have one person decide on a whim, I'm going to derail public education in this country for decades. You just can't have that. We got rid of oligarchs.
Seems goddamn un-American. Seems goddamn un-American what this fucking guy is talking about. How dare you? I can't get over the top marginal tax rate conversation. I'm sorry. I might be alone in this, but I cannot get over it. I cannot stop thinking about it. And I want to know who was the one who originally lied about it. Because whoever started this conversation, not in this chat, I mean in general, whoever like misinformed people originally had to have done it with the express purpose of like, lying to people and trying to get them to advocate against their best interests. And they did it very successfully. I wonder if it was Ryan Reagan. I wonder if it was Ronald Reagan. Like it was during the Reagan era. Maybe it was before that. I want to know. Anyway, there's a lot of funny moments. I think Sam does a decent job, but I wish he did a better job. He doesn't have a lot of major slam dunks. It's 3v4. I mean, it's 1v3, sorry. So I do feel like I do feel as though maybe it just maybe it could have been better if it was one-on-one. You know what I mean? One v3 is too much in this K-Kona hole. What? Can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually think Steven Crowder is very smart. He would have 1,000% been absolutely comforted by Sam, and he was right to be afraid of him. Oh, yeah. You're saying that, yeah, he was right to be afraid of Sam. Yeah, no, Sam would have destroyed him. Are you talking about the misconception of taxes still? Yeah, I am. It's huge. It's very, very important. It's important. I don't know. There was another part of it. I'm trying to figure out.
And Sam, when you said, and not to cut you off, Adam, because while you were saying that, Sam, I was looking at the chart for the spending when you're talking about.
I'm trying to figure out where it was. There was another conversation that they had. I think podcast background is atrocious. True.
Education.
There was another part of this conversation that got derailed again, but they just don't fucking understand it. And it doesn't matter because a lot of right wing commentary is rooted within ignorance anyway. So it doesn't fucking matter. Their audience is already too dumb to recognize it. You know what I mean? They're too dumb to recognize it.
Look how small that little chunk of education is, because they love to keep us stupid. But look at our defense. And I go, when we're in debt and we say that, thank God we're spending that much money. And you know why? All the money that who do we owe the most money to? China, you would say?
No.
China and Japan?
No. China and Japan?
No. We owe the most amount of money of our federal debt. Over 60% of it is to the U.S. government.
So we owe ourselves.
Yes,
basically.
That's correct. We owe Social Security. We borrowed
Vinny,
money
what
from
point
there.
were you making?
So my point was making, thank God we're spending that much money, because whoever we do owe this money to can't come and get it. You don't see nobody coming.
Oh, you're talking about military defense.
Military defense.
Okay, yeah. So your argument is that.
There's so much money. That's what I'm saying.
Let me get back to your
Yeah, they were. Oh, that's what it was. Yes, thank you, Chatter. They were conflating net versus gross profit. They thought 90% on gross profit and would have to downsize. And Sam tried to explain it to them no, you don't get taxed on your net. You're getting taxed on your profit. We're talking about taxing on your profit. And they kept making it seem like you would get fucking, you would have to literally downsize in that situation. And they basically tried to get him to concede to that point. And it almost felt like they got away with it too. Half of the audience probably on the lowest level of the most random pyramid schemes. I mean, they're literally on the lowest level of the most random pyramid schemes and also on the lowest tax bracket in general. It's a financial podcast, so of course, a lot of not sure what secret sauce Sam has, but for some reason he broke through where Kyle and David didn't quite manage to, and props to PBD for inviting him. Oh wait, that's not that bad. Discussions like this make me super sad that Michael Burks is no longer around. The irony of going from bank bailout to risky investments conversation directly, going into the art investment scheme is like a SNL skit. I mean, we know one person that purposely misunderstood, or maybe did not purposely, but just completely misunderstood the point and got angry and then talked shit about Sam, which led us to literally look at this video in general. And that was Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan didn't understand. He saw clips of this and literally thought like Sam was being insane for advocating for a top marginal tax rate that is resembling the 60s in the United States of America. So clearly the message fucking flew over other people's heads. He literally looked at that and went, wow, what a fucking loser this guy is. And Emma is right. Why doesn't Joe Rogan have Sam on to discuss? Well, it turns out Joe doesn't want Sam to ever be on his platform. That's it. Pretty funny seeing Joe spit out the words fucking dork about a guy discussing higher tax on a business podcast he chose to listen to when he also regularly spends 3 hours on the edge of his seat while a guy in a tuxedo cries about Frozen 2. Oh, such a good take. Joe Rogan is not scared to lose viewers, man. Joe Rogan, rich people are very smart on certain metrics that unfortunately poor people are not smart on. Class consciousness being one of the most important metrics. You don't have to be very smart to be a rich person, but you do actually develop class consciousness fairly quickly. Okay? And rich people are very good at not only developing class consciousness, but engaging in class warfare. Okay? It would be very dumb for Joe Rogan to have someone who is a prominent, smart propagandist like Sam to be on his platform. To lend him a platform like that would be dumb in that regard. Also, you don't really need to be class conscious you don't really need to even be class conscious as a rich person. The system already helps. The system already works in your benefit. I am a perfect example of this. I literally am advocating against the needs of the wealthy, and no matter what I say, the system is still defending me. Does that make sense? Defending me in the form of like basically lowering my taxes. I don't like Donald Trump. I advocated against Donald Trump. Donald Trump came to power and still gave me a fucking tax cut. You get it? Anyway, PBD was asking him if he'd still be able to operate majority report if AdSense revenues cut by 90%. Literally finance bros conflating revenue and profit. Yeah, that's what's like really fucking weird about this conversation is that like they're conflating revenue with profit while also simultaneously making it seem like the AdSense structure that you are paying into, that you are literally like creating revenue for another company that's taking away your profits with taxes. And they think it's a flat 90. It's just so stupid. Oh yeah, they're talking about the Laffer curve where, okay, on the 36 minute. This is actually very informative. Let's take a look.
The lack of Ronald Reagan movies. And I would
Okay, you're
also
trying to be
argue there was no less houses that sold because that one particular broker stopped selling houses at a certain point.
So go to it. So right now,
I don't think that's a problem. I really don't. I mean, I think
to raise it to 90%.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think
Top line,
you know
3
what you're
million
talking
plus.
about is sort of the Laffer curve, actually, right?
Yeah.
You know the
You
Laffer.
love the
Arthur
Laffer curve. You're a big fan of it, apparently.
I'll
'cause-
tell you what I love about the
Yeah.
Laffer curve is that we had a perfect example of almost like a perfect model of what happens with the Laffer curve, right? Like the Laffer curve argues that the higher the tax rate goes, the less inclined people are going to be to generate income. And then because they're generating less money, there's going to be less tax receipts collected by the government. Art Laffer was Sam Brownback's #1 advisor in Kansas. Do you remember this when Brownback became governor?
Bro, he doesn't know shit. What do you mean? Do you remember Sam Brownback becoming a governor? Like, no, that man doesn't know anything, Samuel. What's happening here? Don't even ask that question. Just educate
He
them.
basically gave over his entire tax structure to Art Laffer. they had it destroyed the tax base in Kansas. It ended up destroying their entire education system. They had an amazing Kansas university. Brownback gets plucked out of Kansas and literally sent to be ambassador to Ether. You know what? They made him ambassador to faith because they didn't want this guy around at all. The Republican-controlled Kansas legislature raised taxes back up because it had destroyed their tax receipts. The theory may sound good, but it doesn't work in practice.
So are you on YouTube and Rumble or just YouTube?
So, yeah, he literally just avoids what Sam is talking about with respect to like how higher taxes work and how the theory of like higher taxes would ultimately literally stop people from wanting to make more money because they're getting taxed at a higher rate, whatever, which is a fundamental fucking misunderstanding. And how that would have like a negative effect on revenue, okay, like tax revenue. Immediately moves away from that and just starts conflating revenue and profit, and then starts like trying to bully him over this.
I'm on YouTube. I think we put it on Rumble. I think we're also on Twitch, and
all over the place. Okay, so let me ask you this question.
He thinks he's
took their
popping
AdSense from 55 to 15. Would you continue creating content?
Yeah.
You sure?
Sure.
This is such a dumb question. Okay? Because if YouTube took the AdSense from 50 to 15, okay, if that's what you're saying, that means they're taking, instead of taking 50% of your revenue that you're accumulating for YouTube, okay, with nothing in return. Like, they're not giving you anything in return. They're just taking your fucking profit, okay? They're taking the revenue you're generating for YouTube and just pocketing it, okay? Instead of doing that, they took even a larger percentage, okay? If they took literally, if they gave you back 15%, because I think, did he go from 55 to 50 or did he go from 50 to 15? I didn't really understand him. They're giving you the infrastructure though. Brother, they already made that math, calculation, okay? They already made that math calculation. How has it been operating this way thus far? They have the capacity to do so. Also, again, they're not giving you any infrastructure. The only time this argument that you're making makes sense is if we're talking about the government. YouTube is not the government. YouTube takes the infrastructure that the government helped create, builds a fucking company on top of that infrastructure, and then says, here, you have to pay us profits for said infrastructure that we have built on top of the pre-existing infrastructure. Like a mediator in that situation. And YouTube is not doing that out of the kindness of its heart or because they want creative endeavors to prosper like the government would, okay? They're doing it for commerce. They're doing it to generate profits, okay?
You'd continue creating content.
I wasn't doing YouTube for a long time.
How do you make a living today?
I have membership. That people pay. I get ad revenue from different places.
Okay, so let's just say the membership that you get from Patreon or whoever it is, okay? What if their fees went from them keeping 5% to 60% to 90%? Would you continue creating content?
I mean, I would probably have to.
I don't mean to offend you.
Exactly.
Well, but that's only because it's such a big change.
No,
you're not offending me.
That's the part about incentive, Sam. So your audience gets to enjoy you.
I'm not saying we'll cut the revenue for these businesses. I'm saying that the amount of
you
money.
have no choice though because you're paying these guys. You need the revenue.
No. I'm not suggesting we cut revenue for businesses. What I am suggesting is after that revenue comes in. And we divvy up and I have my net profits, then my taxes would go up. But I will say this, like if, let's say, the taxes went up on me personally, would I stop going on YouTube? No.
So would you be able to scale it how many employees you got working for you right now?
I'm not talking about cutting revenue.
I get that. How many employees are working for you right now?
We have payroll, I think, like 6 or 7.
Okay, you got
people.
that's a small business you got there, right?
Sure.
He doesn't understand. He just keeps saying like, oh, you want to tax the profits of corporations, make it a higher rate. Well, how about the revenue? How about the revenue? For the revenue of the corporations? Like, I mean, what if your revenue was cut short? Yeah, if your revenue was cut down, then you would have to downsize. Yes.
7 people. Okay. If all of a sudden AdSense went up, the fees for your Patreon, I don't want to offend you when I say Patreon. I don't know who you use. Whoever you use that's got your membership stuff that you got.
We use Fans FM.
Okay, there you go. That's a shout out to them. So Fans FM,
Right
Fans
there.
FM?
Fans.fm. It's actually a great
Fans.fm. Okay,
service.
fantastic. So if they
They
raised
take
it,
less than Patreon.
if they take 50% all of a sudden, and they say YouTube says AdSense goes to 15%, would you be able to employ those 6 people?
No, if my well, I don't know. But
Yes, if your revenue was cut short, yes. Yes. Yes, if your revenue was cut short, then you would not be able to hire or keep as many employees on your payroll. Of course. Okay? Yes. It would not work that way. You can't do that, okay? That's not how that works. But that payroll is already literally like you're paying. That's a business expense. He's talking about taxing profits.
But probably
Maybe that's because you're rich.
No.
because
Probably not. But I'm not suggesting that we cut revenue for businesses. I'm suggesting that what is left over from revenue, if it's over $3 million, that goes into the pocket of the owner.
Profit is calculated after cost, payroll included. This Chode's argument is stupid, but he doesn't understand it. Now, if I was a more cynical person, I would say, okay, that he is like being stupid. He's playing the role of a stupid person because he recognizes that his audience is stupid, and he's like purposely lying when he knows better. But honestly, I think he's just that stupid. I think a lot of people that are rich are just fucking dumb. Okay? I genuinely think that a lot of people that are that rich or that level, especially podcast bros that make fucking like finance podcasts and shit, are just very stupid. He used to work in insurance. I mean, even that doesn't tell me anything. Bro, we just established that there are motherfuckers literally that work in this field, specifically in the accounting side even, that don't fully understand how top marginal tax rates work. You know your bosses don't fucking fully understand it either. Like, actuaries are not accountants, yeah, but they do higher level math than fucking accountants do. So he should technically be way smarter, but better math doesn't necessarily mean you understand tax brackets, and better math simply doesn't mean you understand the American tax system in general. And why would you when... Also, I doubt that he was a fucking actuary. I don't believe that. Really? There's no fucking way, dude. That's like... No, he is not A-worded enough to be that, I don't think. Also, if you increase taxes, then you would incentivize companies to do capital expenditures instead of dividends or buybacks. Capital expenditures count as long-term expenses and would decrease companies' net income. So instead of paying taxes to the government, a company would buy a factory. Actuaries are bigger math nerds than us. Yeah, he's not like... No, I think he was an insurance salesman, which is like... I don't believe that. I know plenty of physics PhDs that don't understand marginal tax rates due to lack of curiosity.
Owner of this enterprise, that...
To be fair, not all A words come with the math buff. Yeah, my A word did not come with the mathematics buff. Yeah.
That $300 million and $1 gets taxed
Let's
at
have fun with this.
90 cents.
Let's have fun with this. So here's a question for you. And I kind of know what your answer is.
And I want to be clear on something.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I subscribe to this not because I think that we need the money or that this is going to, be a panacea in terms of like how we would spend this money.
Yeah.
But I see in this country a massive
Dr. Colossus. Thank you for the 50 big ones.
problem with wealth inequality and the commensurate political inequality that comes with it. We have wealth inequality in this country like we've never had before.
I don't disagree. So there's not a disagreement there, but the solution is where we're going to disagree.
Yeah.
Let's kind of process that together.
Yeah, go ahead.
So
my
the whole
friend.
thing. Like I remember when I first got out of the military and I went into the financial industry. It's 1999. I know nothing. It's 2000. I know nothing about now. The speaker gets up. Wow, have you
Not much has changed, my friend. I'm just going to say that.
been noticing that the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poor? I'm like, okay, my dad's at a cashier at a 99-cent store 15 years. My parents got divorced twice.
I hope you said to that guy, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah.
Wait to 20 years
but you're
from now.
right,
It's going to be completely out of control.
But you're right, though. But why is the question? So here's a question for you. So you're saying above $3 million, that money that the owner's going to keep, we got to tax them 90%. Fine. Okay. So you believe the money, like when I was in the military, you would buy a product for the Humvees, and they would say, yeah, we pay $600 for this piece. We're like, dude, this piece is $40.
Right.
People thinking this guy is Cuban are really funny because there is one group of individuals that are more Cuban than every Cuban that you've ever seen, and that's Iranians, okay? This man is, I would be shocked if he's not Iranian, okay? I'm almost, I don't know his background at all, but he is definitely, I don't know anything about him, okay? But I know one thing. He's Iranian, okay? He's Persian. Iranians living in America are very they're the most Cuban coded MENA people. Okay? Straight up. Oh man,
Why the hell are we paying $600 for? Well, the contracts. You know how they are, man. The government always pays a lot because they're dumb. They always pay more than it's usually worth. A $40 piece for a Hummer, they're paying $600. I'm like, that's an awesome business for the other guy.
Yeah, we have horrible oversight in the military.
But this is the point, though. This is the point. And I want to actually sincerely get your thoughts on this, on how we address this. So if somebody overpays for a product, that person's either got to be fired or they're an overspender or a terrible negotiator. But it's one of the three, right? Okay. So you feel money going to the government we do more good with, or money staying in the free market for people to produce more value? Where do you feel values produce more?
Well, I'm not. I'm not sure I fully get what you're saying, but let me put it in this way.
It's a very simple
Okay.
question.
Well,
I want it to be clear.
Let me make it a little bit more concrete.
Yeah.
So you guys know that the biggest part of the budget, more or less, is Social Security and Medicare, right?
And Medicaid, yeah.
And
Hasan, you showcase a lot of toxic leftist traits. Go ahead, enlighten us. I'll put you in the other fucking. I'll put you in here. We'll back pocket you because I'm wondering. I'm assuming there's gonna be some funny stuff there.
Medicaid.
Entitlement programs.
Yeah, you can call them entitlement programs.
They are,
I call them social insurance programs because
Tomato.
that's what they really are.
That's 90%.
What do you mean by Cuban coded? Honest question. So American Cubans, especially older generations of American Cubans, you kind of gotta live it to learn it. Have a lot of reactionary values, okay, a lot of reactionary principles, and Iranians that live in America, older Iranians especially, are very similar with their attitude towards right-wing politics. Someone in the chat pointed to it perfectly. Said all American Cubans and MENA Americans share the one similar, weird fucking super right-wing uncle, which is true. Yeah. But Iranians went to LA versus the Cubans went to Miami.
Percent of the budget, I want to say.
No, the military is about 850 billion. Social Security is like 1.7 trillion. I think Medicare is probably
Can you
close
pull
to
up
like
the chart?
700 billion.
It's about 60%.
And then there's other. But
more.
It's a high number. It's a big number. You're right. It's a high number.
You'll find that it's. I think our
guy gave
annual
nothing.
budget is somewhere around like 2.7 trillion, and the military is like 800 billion, 900 billion. You know that you can see anyways that they show us.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, Social Security, Medicare, the two biggest things that the government does are wildly popular. Medicare, you come from the insurance business, you probably know this. To administer health insurance, there's like 13, 15% cost in the administration of that health insurance. For Medicare, 3%. Far more efficient. And copays are less. I mean, and the whatever you want to call it, consumer satisfaction. I don't like to think of citizens as consumers, but the satisfaction's huge, through the roof, particularly when people use it. It's people appreciate it who don't use it. You know, if I got my parents, they're on Medicare, I'm pretty psyched about it because I don't have to take care of them. My mother's in a nursing home now. It's Medicaid that's doing that. I'm not responsible for that cost. Social Security, through the roof. In fact, I think even a majority of Republicans want to expand.
But popular is not a way to qualify something. If I went out there and I gave,
satisfaction.
if I went to high school and I said, guys, I'm giving dime bags to everybody weed, I'd be a very popular kind of high school. So that is a wrong way to qualify.
You said efficiency.
Yeah.
Medicare, 3% administrative costs versus 15%.
That's like the kid that's running for class president who's like, every Friday we're throwing a pizza party.
Well,
Yeah, dude. Something that is like unironically has to happen so that we just don't like throw our elderly off a mountaintop when they get to an age where they're no longer a productive laborer. It seems to me like it's very valid, Like, what's the alternative? Like, if you're poor and your children can't take care of you, we just like kick you off of a mountaintop Midsommar style? Like, is that what you want? It's so fucking stupid. Like, oh my God. People that make like social safety nets that are necessary for society to fucking function out to be like pizza on Friday are so fucking delusional. They're all such idiotic baboons, bro. Oh my Lord. Finance podcast, by the way. These guys are like explaining how the world works, the world of finance. There is no world in which, like, if you don't have a fucking pizza party on Friday, you just don't have a pizza party on Friday. If you don't have Medicare, old people die. It's that simple. Like, your loved ones die. Why? Because they don't have money to pay for healthcare that they need. Of course, if you recognize that, you have to recognize inelastic demand, which is like a basic econ concept. We're talking fucking neoclassical economics, micro and macroeconomic principles. You learn about it immediately, okay? It's like one of your first or second fucking courses you learn about, okay? And these guys just avoid that. It's so fucking weird. Like, how? How do you avoid the top of the hour ad break and also inelastic demand? If you don't have healthcare, you fucking die. That's it. So you will always find a way to pay for it, no matter what happens. Unlike the top of the hour ad break, which comes for everybody, unless you have a $5 a month subscription or a free one in the form of a Twitch Prime, or you got lucky and you got gifted a sub. Either of those things will help you avoid the top of the hour ad break. The Raging Hoppa, Pinky Poker, Virtual Meal. Thank you for the 5 and 10 gifted subs by the Raging Hoppa. Allowing 20 people total to no longer see the ads. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Virtual Meal, you trying to lower his tax bracket in the chat right now with his gifted subs to ensure that he doesn't get taxed and lose more money after getting a raise. That's so funny that he just fucking... It's so funny that he literally... I'm sorry, bro. You gotta get... I mean, I'm gonna make fun of you a little bit. You know this streamer remembers shit that you say in the chat. Wait, is that how it works? No, man. I'm making fun of him for thinking that that's how it worked, and then literally, is gifting a 501c3 a write-off? Yes. Yes. It's deductible. Yes. If you have given money directly to a 501c3 in many of the fundraisers that we've done, you can actually add that into your add that in your taxes, and you should.
To get everybody's vote. But who's paying for the pizza parties?
Well, workers. In fact, I would argue that we should be actually removing the cap on Social Security taxes, because right now, it goes only up to $160,000, right? There's a cap. Traditionally, Social Security has captured or touched 91% of the country's income. You follow me? And now it's somewhere down in like the mid 80s because of wealth inequality.
But your argument on the flip side of it, the argument can be as well to say, well, at the beginning when they came out with Social Security, there's only a few thousand people in America that was actually using it. It was not meant to be for as big of a behemoth of what it is today.
No,
it kept
true.
2/3 of our elderly out of poverty. It keeps 2/3 of our elderly.
Nobody's
out of
arguing the benefits of Social Security.
Argument.
Only add it to your tax if you qualify for itemized and not standard deduction. Yeah.
That's not the argument. The argument is, originally when it came out, it wasn't for the bigger percentage.
You had to wait. You had to wait until you build up the
No, you
funds.
didn't have to. You had to have capitalist work and overtax them to be able to fund it. That's what you had to do. But let me go back to the
I think
question.
what you are saying, just to
All matter of like right-wing arguments basically reduce the taxation is theft, which is Sam Cedar's perfect. That's his space. You know what I mean? Look, fun trick. Every time you talk to a guy like this, they're always going to basically dance around openly stating that taxation is theft. That is, if they're fucking smart, they'll dance around it. These guys aren't particularly smart, so they jump to that gun immediately. The moment that they say that, you have to ask them, how do we build roads? The moment that they ask that, how do we fund the government? Okay? And they say, oh, we don't need a government. Then you say, okay, if you have property, okay, how do you protect it? If you have a business dispute, who gets to decide? Roads and courts, okay? Always those two fucking fundamental points. That's why minarchists will admit that there is need for an existence of courts and an existence for roads, at least. Okay? Every time you talk to someone who is of a different flavoring of libertarian, which a lot of right-wingers are, just ask them, how do you fund the roads? How do you fund the courts? They literally do not have an argument for that. They don't. Okay? And almost every right-winger basically holds on to that fundamental principle, regardless of what tax bracket they may be under, which is ironic for many. The overwhelming majority of right-wingers do not even get to benefit from the tax breaks that they are advocating for. They just, advocate for it because they're fucking stupid. Can you expand the court argument? I remember the road part. How do you fund? How do you have court? You need a court system. Oh my God. Pee-pee! Oh yeah, you want to take off? Okay. So big. Did she grow? She's looking a little chubby. She's looking a little chubby thick. What? 50 pounds? Damn, that's a big girl. Anyway. Let's say we are living in the anarcho-capitalist libertarian utopia. Let's say someone else with more guns than you came over to your fucking property and said, this is my property now. How do you deal with that? Or you have a contract dispute. Who gets to deal with that contract? Let's say you hired someone to do your job, do a job for you, and then they didn't do the job that you hired them to do. How do you fucking force them to do it if they have more guns than you? You have to take it to a court, right? And the court has to be impartial. Like, they have to be impartial. No one is going to abide by the non-aggression principle. Let's be fucking real. And the non-aggression principle always is going to be overridden by whoever has more guns. What is this?
You fucking level 1 rookie bitch ass commentators on Twitter. You not fooling a libertarian by bringing up them bitch ass roads. You must drive on the road. You must hate the roads. And you somehow think that the thing that's gonna stump us and be like, damn, fuck this libertarian shit is the motherfucking roads. Jesus Christ. Walter Block has a long form write-up of the privatization of roads and highways. This is level 1 shit. Just because you can't figure out how minus tax.
So how does that work though? No, go ahead. I love that. It's like every road needs to be a toll road. Okay. How does that work though? Who builds it originally? Why are they building it? Because you're trying to put a toll system on already pre-existing roads, but we're talking about roads that you have to build. Who the fuck is building those roads? Why would there be a network of connecting roads in a situation? How do you enforce the toll? You put a toll there, I drive my tank right through it. How do you enforce that toll? What do you got, auto turrets? This is why decentralized structures that crypto libertarians advocate for always fucking fall apart, okay? Because might is right politics would just destroy it. And let me tell you, there's always someone with a bigger gun than you, okay? How do you fund the roads? Us kindergartners would appreciate a quick catch-up. Taxes, man. That's how you fund the roads. And every single time you see a goddamn pothole in one, remember that is a pothole that could have been filled, but that went to the fucking cops so they could get a new toy.
Taxation, people would say, damn, I need to get over there. What if we built a goddamn flat space? If you think people can't.
The greatest irony is that, like, because industries have a tendency to monopolize, okay, without any sort of government interference, like, that's what all companies want to do, is basically become a monopoly so they can control every aspect. This is done through a process called vertical and horizontal integration. Amazon is a great example of this for e-commerce, but there are many such examples. At least if they don't monopolize, they turn into an oligopoly, like the airline industry or like the ISPs or like the railroads in the United States of America. And what basically libertarians advocate for is still a centralization that will occur. It's just, do you have even a marginal say in that process or do you not? Which is why a lot of libertarians ultimately become like monarchy cucks, because you basically are advocating for, again, a monopoly. You're advocating for either an oligopoly or a monopoly where there is no competition, because businesses thrive when there's no competition. That's what businesses try to do. So ultimately, in the libertarian paradise, you would still have that level of centralization, okay? Or you would have some form of a planned economy like Amazon has, like Walmart has. These are planned economies that basically rival entire economies of nations, for the record, okay? The only difference is you don't get to have a say in anything. Hasan, take it easy. He's a grown man wearing a Marvel hat. He's saying all these wizard words that I don't know. Libertarian arguments are always reinventing society, but worse and more annoying without fail. Yes.
Figure that shit out, or you can't figure out how people would do that. So you.
Also, he didn't even bring up like an actual counter to the roads. Like he just said, "Nah, someone came up with that, bro. Fuck you." And then he's just like ranting.
It's okay. This is why we're free market. Let the smart people kind of figure that shit out and allocate those resources. But I promise you, homies, you not fooling now libertarian by bringing up them bitch ass roads.
He said people would just get it done, which is really fucking awesome. Yeah. And when you try to work them through the steps, they will literally reinvent the government step by step. That's why I always say all matter of regulation is written in the written with blood as the ink, okay? All matter of regulation, just like what Elon Musk was doing at fucking Twitter, is created. All matter of rules and regulation in many circumstances is created because people died. So they were like, "Oh fuck, man, we shouldn't have, we maybe we need like some fucking zoning or building codes." You know what I mean? This man hates seatbelts. Oh, you know he does. All OSHA rules are written in someone else's blood? Yes. You literally only need to know how to guide a principle to its logical conclusion to completely stump any libertarian. People will just get things done is unironically the same thing anarchists believe? Yes. There is truth to that, which is why libertarians in Europe would be anarchists. Like, that, yes, there is some truth to that, ultimately. Libertarians also call themselves anarcho-capitalists in general, even though at least with the principles of like the true principles of anarchism are antithetical to the true principles of anarchy, and what anarchists espouse are antithetical to capitalism, because capitalism in and of itself is predicated upon an unjustifiable hierarchy between the relationships, the relations that people have to the means of production, between the inherent class contradictions that capitalism is built upon. So you can't really be an anarcho-capitalist. Like, there's no such thing, because the entirety of anarchism revolves around abolishing unjustifiable hierarchies, which is why it's like really stupid to say you're an anarcho-capitalist. Try not the strawman anarchism challenge. Difficulty impossible. Okay. I think I am much, much nicer to anarchists than I could be. Like, every now and then I tell anarchists to take a shower, but other than that, not a straw man. Comrade Cummy. Especially when I'm describing that, like, anarchism and anarcho-capitalism are two principles that don't go along with one another, because capitalism cannot work side by side given how it necessitates unjustifiable hierarchies. Okay, hey man, I believe in justifiable authority. Fuck ANCAPs totally. Okay. Well, I guess maybe then anarcho-capitalists can say, well, I justifiably would democratically vote to suck a boot. Maybe it's not so unjustifiable. This guy never... Oh, we banned him? No, he got timed out for 1 second. He never came back. Okay.
Validate your point. I think at that point, this is FDR back in the day.
we can pull up the data. That's
I think
not
there was 40 workers for every retiree. I think now it's closer to like 3 workers.
Yeah, it's not
Yes,
sustainable.
but
It's not even close.
No. It is sustainable.
You think it's sustainable.
No, I don't think it's sustainable.
This is funny. Bro, Habibi, libertarians don't believe in taxes. He just wants everyone with jobs to pitch in a set amount of money proportional to their income after every pay period to help fund these public services. He even wants to pay a small amount of those taxes back at the end of the fiscal year. Yeah, exactly. You're so right. Yeah, exactly. So that, some of those, it's not, this is just like Trainwrecks being like, no, it's not a charity. It's a system. No, it's not taxation. It's a system. No, I mean, I know that's what that guy was saying, by the way. That guy was joking about that.
Well, I'm looking at the Social Security Trust Fund actuarial
with the
tables.
letter when they sent you this in the Social Security letter, they're telling you if we go this way, this is going to go bankrupt.
No,
in the letter.
No. You're misreading it. The trust fund is going to go bankrupt. In 1981, Greenspan and Reagan expanded the trust fund. We had a surge of baby boomers. There is a trust fund that exists that is essentially like a rainy day fund. That is going to be insolvent around 2033.
2033.
2033.
10 years. You are correct. I just had this conversation this past week.
However,
that's not a concern. That's not a concern. That's not a concern.
Yeah, he's going to explain to you why it's not a concern because the fucking federal government has the capacity to fund it, okay? And they could just fucking print more money to fund it. That's it. And there is never going to be a situation where the federal government, unless I guess we have like the psychotic fucking podcast listeners become, in positions of power, like they will never fucking run out of money because they will always print more money to fund it. That's it. That's how that works.
It is a concern. It will cause 20% in cuts to our benefits.
Okay.
But that's it, period. Now, the way that we can get rid of that 20% in cuts in the Social Security Trust Fund is to do what I'm suggesting.
Increase the max cap as well. That's probably what he's going to advocate for. That's what something, ironically, even Joe Manchin has said he believes in, even though I don't believe that he believes in it. Let's be fucking real.
Move the cap so that every dollar you make, even above $160,000, is taxed by Social Security.
Sam,
and then your kids will be long dead before that trust fund is out.
Hopefully, if I raise my kids right, my kids won't need to be supported by the government.
If they don't need to be, if they don't need that.
That's crazy, dude. That is such a fucking crazy thing to advocate for. That is insane. Like, hopefully my kids don't have to need Social Security. Okay, but what if they do? Like, this is, America has created this like weird, dogmatic, hyper-capitalist religion that is so incredibly beneficial for capitalism to thrive. This hyper-individualistic mentality is so perfect. That's why they advocate for like deregulation at every step. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, what are you talking about? It's like, even when I talked to XCC when he was, remember, like I always have to go back to the seatbelt analogy because like that actually fires people off. Like that fires like the synapses of every American a little bit and like makes them realize like, oh yeah, you're right. People are fucking stupid. So like there should be some regulation to stop them from doing stupid shit. Same principle goes for uncertainty. Like you don't know if your fucking kids are going to be like, successful enough to avoid Social Security. Like what the fuck is that? There are plenty of people who don't, you know what I mean? So what do? Do you let them die?
Social insurance.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, how can you, as an insurance guy, how can you not understand this?
No,
I don't sit around saying like, I hope that I don't need my fire insurance. I hope I don't. If your kids don't need Social Security, old age insurance, then you know what?
But
we will tax the money back.
I am better for society. I am better for society if I find ways to get people off of needing any of this stuff than to rely on it more and more and more because I'm truly hurting those who are creating.
This is one of my favorites. I mean, this is Ayn Rand too. I grew up on welfare, Medicaid, and food stamps. America's a meritocracy, and I made my own success myself. Sorry, #DNC 2012. Like, how did you write that and not realize? First of all, it's so funny because it literally undermines meritocracy by just saying that you are a successful person. Because if meritocracy was the truth, then like you would not have been successful. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, no, it's not satirical. This is a right-wing weirdo, okay? It's not satirical. This is the woman who could not define woke, who wrote an entire book about it. She's not joking, guys. That's how fucking stupid she is. Also, think about conservative discourse in 2012 versus now. Look, she's attacking Medicaid, food stamps, and welfare. Think about that. That's what conservatives used to fucking advocate for. That's what they would ride for, which is ultimately their goal, right? Is to cripple those programs. But now it's all trans stuff. Anyway, I'm bored of listening to this fucking guy. It's just like very stupid. I hope this was informative for a lot of you. We have a lot to watch still. I forgot to even do the fucking Trump versus DeSantis shit. Like, should we even cover it at this point? I feel like we talked about it so much. What does your top say? It says crime is not a crime. I saw Joe shitting on Sam. That's how we started this.